We are finally underway with an impeachment inquiry into Joe Biden. This is very good news. When I told Debbie, she goes, Peach 46, where we both chuckled because we were referring to Maxine Waters' famous Peach 45. Well, 45 was peached, and 46 is about to be peached, or at least the preliminary step. An impeachment inquiry is not the same as an impeachment, but the one leads to the other. The purpose of the one is to clear the ground for the other. And Kevin McCarthy has been hesitating, I would say dithering, very circumspect and cautious and moving in this direction. I think the reason he decided to do it is twofold. One is the very systematic and responsible behavior of Representative James Comer, who is the chairman of the House Oversight Committee, and also Jim Jordan, who is the chairman of the House Judiciary Committee. And these two have, in a very diligent way and a very factual way, produced all this evidence, this mountain of evidence. And this has slowly been convincing Republican members one by one, even those that are from middle districts or swing districts, even those that would be considered on the moderate or establishment side, maybe even the rhino side of the Republican Party. I saw a statement, I guess this is from the Senate, but coming from, of all people, Mitt Romney. He goes, he's supportive of the House proceeding with an impeachment inquiry. So if Romney is for it, it shows you really that this is the case where the mainstream of the Republican Party and even the, let's call it the left flank, is now on board with this. So I would say McCarthy is not so much leading the pack as he is the leader who's now running to get ahead of where the pack already is. The pack has reached the point, okay, this is the next step. Now, the benefit of this impeachment inquiry, and by the way, it's making the left really nervous. Here's an article from NBC News. The GOP-led investigations have not uncovered evidence of wrongdoing by the president or connections between the president and Hunter Biden's foreign business dealings. So right away, the left is, even in its news articles, you could see, starting to mount a defense on behalf of Joe Biden. So you can see how NBC is essentially a propaganda vehicle for the Bidens. It's not reporting the story. It's not considering the two sides. It is basically immediately trying to throw itself into the defense of Joe Biden, almost as if to preemptively head off an impeachment inquiry that then turns into an actual impeachment. Kevin McCarthy says, look, it's the logical next step. Why? Two reasons. One is that the evidence has been mounting and mounting. And usually when evidence mounts, it means that there's a lot more there. Think about it. You're doing a murder investigation and somebody points, you get a tip, it could be this guy. Now, that doesn't by itself mean a whole lot. Could be him, could be somebody else. But you then realize that a particular type of gun was used in the murder, and he happens to own that type of gun, although he claims to have, quote, lost it. And then it turns out that there is an insurance policy on the deceased, and he's the beneficiary of it. I'm just piling on here, but you see what I mean? When you see one piece of evidence piling on top of another, you go, oh, wait a minute. Well, now it's time to look and see if he has an alibi. Where was he exactly at the time of the murder? And if he won't tell you, and if he lawyers up and the lawyer goes, listen, we're not submitting to any interviews, obviously you want to take whatever steps you can, get a warrant and so on, to try to find out the answers to those questions. Well, something exactly analogous is happening here, which is to say that there's obstructionism going on all around. The Biden DOJ is far from being a kind of neutral or independent enforcer of the law. It's doing block and tackle for Joe Biden. The media is doing the same thing. The White House is doing the same thing. The White House counsel's office, which is supposed to be not Joe Biden's personal lawyer. Joe Biden has a personal lawyer, but the White House counsel's office is acting as if it is Joe Biden's personal lawyer. So all of this means that these guys are all trying to prevent information from coming out. They are spinning. They are providing, if you will, false leads to the media. In fact, a recent letter, which I think I'll talk about tomorrow in more detail, basically telling the press, look, you need to expose the lies of this impeachment inquiry. You need to basically come out even more than you already have on our side and go after the Republicans for even attempting to do this. So you can see here an effort to, not just on the part of the government, but to use the media to intimidate the Republicans. And look, in the past, these kinds of things work. So I'm not saying that the Democrats are going to play hardball on the impeachment inquiry, and Republicans should be prepared for it. So this is a case where Republicans have to think strategically. I saw a very good idea by Paul Sperry on social media today, and I shared it on X, on Twitter, where he said, look, Republicans should schedule these hearings not in the typical middle of the day, but rather make them evening hearings in prime time, and then challenge the media and the networks to cover them. Let's remember, the networks covered the Trump impeachment, the networks covered the January 6th committee, and while the line right now on the part of NBC and many other media outlets is just no evidence. I mean, let's think about it. They impeached Trump for what? Making a phone call to the head of Ukraine to look into Joe Biden corruption, which turns out to be quite real. And then they impeached him a second time for giving a speech in which he says, let's rally peacefully and patriotically. Whoops. And Trump is indicted for that. So given the absolute groundlessness of the past two impeachments, these are the impeachments defended by the same media. These are people to talk about this impeachment inquiry having, quote, no evidence. Debbie and I made a New Year's resolution to lose weight, and thankfully PhD weight loss came to our rescue. Debbie's already lost 24 pounds. I've lost 27. We are now both on maintenance. The program is based on science and nutrition. No injections, no pills, no long hours in the gym, no severe calorie restriction, just good, sound, scientifically proven nutrition. It's so simple. They make it easy by providing 80% of your food at no additional cost. They tell you when and what to eat, and guess what? You can do this without ever being hungry. The founder, Dr. Ashley Lucas, has her PhD in chronic disease and sports nutrition. She's also a registered dietitian. She helps people lose weight and, most important, maintain that weight loss for life. If you're ready to take the step of losing weight like Debbie and I have, call PhD Weight Loss and Nutrition. Here's the number, 864-644-1900. You can also find them online at myphdweightloss.com. The number again to call, 864-644-1900. It's time.